Welcome back to HolyTurtle Radio. Today I'm sharing with you a more candid reaction to a very beautiful video that my wife shared with me. She was watching it in the morning of today, January 18th, and she broke into tears. And I'll share the link in the description for you to watch yourself. And I think the reason why she cried and the reason why I cried was because the people singing this song are presumably active duty military. And if not active duty military, it at least represents what the military stands for, which is a God-fearing but a highly Christian influenced and precious society that is dangling by a thread as we speak today, January 2021. We don't know what's going to happen in the next few days, but knowing what has happened in just the past calendar year, knowing what has fallen on our shoulders to hold and bear, and the call to action that we have felt, the transformation of people's personalities in this last year has been so amazing. We have met people, strangers, and felt more connected to them than other people we've known our entire lives. And why? Why is it that when I took a trip over Christmas, leaving on the day of Christ, and returning 17 days later, why is it that in this span of time, crossing the United States of America, meeting people in small towns and cities alike, why is it that in my life this happened where God entered? We listened to the Bible, we listened to sermons, we listened to people speak about spirituality all along the trip. And now I feel returning back to this place, to this state, which is so heavily assaulted by evil, by communism, by control, by tyranny, by negativity, death, and fear, and anger. I return to this place, the source where I was born. I return here and feel the instinct to turn the other cheek even more than I already was, to go out there and represent what I know in my heart to be the right thing, the consciously, spiritually good thing, which is forgiveness, kindness, gentleness, love, compassion, understanding, patience. I'm embracing virtues, but why? Why is it happening now? It may be happening to you as well. Let it be. Just let it be. This video may transform you, may bring you to tears. I hope it does. I hope that you allow yourself to open. Man, woman, child, elder, it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter the color. Today is, after all, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So let us look past the vanity. Let us look deeper than how we appear and feel together what it means to be American. Because for me, to be American has been convoluted for years. We've seen the conflicted nature of what the United States of America represents, and we've seen the arguments laid out in front of us to suggest that we are a terrible country full of evil, and we only hurt the world, and we should bring ourselves down, that we should kneel. In the face of opposition, many of us have become true patriots, willing to fall on the sword, willing to sacrifice everything, energy, time, our lives, for the greater good. That value cannot be criticized. Try as they may. We are humbled by our service to something greater than ourselves. We are connected by a fabric, a holy fabric. And that connection is infinitely more valuable than vain, proud, negative, corrupt sinful judgment, by oppositions of God. These people are the opponents. They've designed their lives to be opponents to good value. You may hear this consistently with people, that they don't care. You try to have a dialogue with them and they don't care. They say, I don't care. We have to care. Why live if not to care? I see behaviors going on with children driving past a rally of happiness and joy and love and peace and support for good values. I've seen children in cars using their middle finger, filming with their phone and making a face, or I've seen so many painful things, and I'm sure you have as well. That's part of the reason why you're probably here. But I just wanted to share this video. I wanted to share this song, this God Bless America. God bless the USA. I wanted to share this idea, this story, because I think it represents exactly what is happening now at this very moment in time. We are now sensitive, and we must allow that sensitivity to open us, spiritually open, and to grow wings that will lighten us, to become warriors of truth, and to act as servants so that God's will may be done in this plane, on this earth, in this mortality, in this existence. To dedicate ourselves to it is noble. It may be uncomfortable to look at ourselves and consider how we may improve. It may be difficult to be realistic about the situation. It may be hard to look at Washington, D.C. locked down and resembling a scene from Children of Men or Raised by Wolves or Handmaid's Tale. But these stories, these forms of art, these entertainment, they're manifestations of human creation. They're manifestations and examples of God's will, his plan, this story, the human story. People covering their face, this suppression, physical suppression of the voice, of the mouth, of the spirit, because the spirit lives in our breath. That suppression is overt. And they have manipulated the sense of empathy to the point where it became so hypervigilant that people were willing to vilify one another, to turn on their own family members, to create distance when we ought to be drawing nearer. We will survive. We are stronger than the media would suggest we are, and we know it. We've been through so much for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that this virus of a 99.7% survival rate with heavily inflated casualty numbers and ignorant of the terminal illnesses already plaguing people, the cancers that have gone untreated, unverified, undiagnosed, the amount of people who have been victims of accidents or died of other causes and being misappropriated, being incorrectly identified as victims of a physical virus that may not have ever been close to them, is an absurdity that we must all look carefully at. Common sense has been replaced by nonsense. Those who believe they are righteous have decided to carry out what they think is right and attack other people. They've attacked my wife's livelihood, my wife's jobs. They have threatened people's lives. They have threatened through terror and fear and intimidation institutions, people. And for what? So we must be proud in a way that is humble. Proud to be born into this country, born into this land, or to have had the freedom to pursue a life in this place with other people who love each other, love this country, and love what this song stands for. I pray God's will be done. I pray for you to emerge from despair. There have been so many miraculous things that have happened to me, around me, through me, that I feel blessed and humbled by it, that I do not deserve this experience. It has been so much, but I'm happy to share it with you, and I hope that if this is my purpose, to use my mind as it was designed and as it has developed, to share with you the coincidences and the symbolism and the thoughts and the connections. If it is my job, my role, my part to interpret the divine, interpret the Bible even, and interpret the stories therein in such a way that helps understand it or helps open the mind and open the spiritual body to accepting, then so be it. One can hope, one can have faith, because these do not rely on the ego. And we can see the world now manifestly, deeply entrenched in sin. We see it in so many ways. We see it in the sexually perverse. We see it with guilty members of society, guilty of pedophilia. We see it with false prophets. And the word prophet is very interesting, because to profit is to gain. And a prophet may claim what will come in the future. I believe prophecy itself, just like George R.R. Martin would diagnose, is a tricky one. Prophecy ought to be judged and analyzed carefully. However, I do believe that prophecy returns time and time again in the human realm for a reason. I do believe that there has been a spiritual contest, a war, waging underneath our plane of existence. I believe that the energies of the universe, the atoms, the electrons, all of the things that are moving all the time in a wave are clashing and mixing and interacting in such a way that it affects our behavior, it affects our experience while we are conscious. And we may even be connecting to a deeper level through our subconscious, through the oscillations of our brain. So, please enjoy this video. I found it incredibly moving at this very moment in time, because it feels like everything is on the line. And I've been told by people across the country that this moment, this very moment, is a very powerful, very important moment. Now, whether that moment lasts a week, 2 months, or a few milliseconds, we just don't know. One can view it microanalytically or macroanalytically. One can think of this as a hiccup in time over millions of years. Who knows? I wanted to share this. I wanted to share with you how it made me feel to watch it. I wanted you to know that for years I doubted myself. I doubted this country. I doubted goodness. And only recently did I fully accept that it may not matter Whether I know what's right or wrong, it may not matter. Whether I act or not act, it may not matter at all. But I always have a choice consciously. I always have a choice. I do not have to be violent. I do not have to harbor negative energy. I do not have to resign myself to laziness or the belief that I am not good enough. I do not have to subscribe to what is happening in our country and indeed in our world right now, and what has been steadily worsening. We, the people, hold the power. But that power was a gift. What we do with it defines our character. And inevitably, I hope that you can use this. You can use my words. You can use these examples, these connections to better your own life. So good luck to you, and Godspeed.